Read off, I apologize. So we have for our panel today, Pohai Ryan, who is the Executive Director of the Native Hawaiian Hospitality Association.
Right here.
Oh, there. And Danielle Muffat, who is Human Resources Manager for Bloomingdale's at Moana Center. And Lena Young, who is currently the Corporate Director of Operations and Human Resources at JTB Hawaii Incorporated. And Mr. Stanley Olayan, who is currently working with Mutual of Omaha's Hawaii Division, and I am looking desperately for a title. You're a Human Resources Specialist, I think is...
Training and recruiting specialist.
Training and recruiting specialist. My apologies, but nonetheless. Please welcome our panelists for the employer panel. So I'll give you the time cards, and you guys can go. Is anybody using a PowerPoint? No, no. Okay. So Pohai, please. Yes, but from there, the mic should, is the mic on?
Aloha, good morning. My name is Pohai Ryan. I'm the Executive Director of the Native Hawaiian Hospitality Association. Just for my, to help me out, how many of you have even heard of our organization? Oh, that's pretty good. We are 20 years old this year. We were formed in 1997. Our founders, businessman Kenneth Brown and former senator, as well as Dr. George Kanahele, were our founders of our organization. I actually was a student of Dr. Kanahele briefly while being trained as a docent at Queen's Medical Center to learn about Queen Emma's legacy. In a nutshell, though, or pihi shell, the Native Hawaiian Hospitality Association is a nonprofit, and our primary target or focus is with the visitor industry. Our primary service is bringing cultural consultation as well as cultural education and training for resort and tourism related employees and staff. Most of the training we do, though, the staff is not even from Hawaii. And in the past, NAHA has had some criticism of not being cultural enough. But the reality is, when we do our training, we have to assess the audience, and we don't want to overwhelm or intimidate people. So the highest objective, really, when we do our training is to have the audience love Hawaii and love Hawaiian culture and language. And from there, we feel that their interests will spur. Our services run a very interesting spectrum. For example, last month we had a consultation with a national toy company who wants to name a toy after a Hawaiian value. So that's the kind of requests we get. As the executive director in the last 4 years, I've made a strong commitment to bring in more Olelo Hawaii speakers, which NAHA did not have in the past. The commitment for Hawaiian speakers were not there. Here we are, fast forward 20 years later. Not only is the School of Hawaiian Language at UH and the School of Hawaiian Studies much more mature, but they are also providing graduates with very high cultural aptitude. And that's a good thing for us. And like any good nonprofit, we should be responding appropriately to the environment and not being so myopic and not bend or shape according to the current trends. With that said, though, I have noticed in a previous contract we had with DLAR, I was able to do community assessments throughout the state for community tourism. And there are some common things that I saw, both positive and negative. But I think the biggest thing is seeing that the visitor industry is seeing the value more in Hawaiian language present in the visitor industry in material, as well as HTA subcontracting us to have language interpreted correctly in their content. I'm happy to say that we do contract products of the Hawaiian immersion, especially from the Hawaii island, Navahi. Yes, we're very happy and pleased with that contractor, and he's very maikai. He provides the translation very quickly, though I wish we could pay him a lot more. We are still a small nonprofit. But our role really in NAHA is really important in making sure that the language is preserved and enhanced and grows within the industry. And sometimes the steps are very small and not as noticeable. What I am seeing in Waikiki, though, is a bigger commitment to mo'olelo, or storied place of properties. That's a huge paradigm shift, especially when it comes to redesigning the properties. I was very pleased to find out in visiting Prince Hotel last week that my classmate, Ka'ili-chan, led a project with the customers, creating sculptures of the fish that have been known to spawn and go through the area, through the mo'olelo. So the whole design of the lobby. So when you go to Waikiki, that's something you might want to notice, the changes. There's actually very intentional design changes and language changes. It takes people who are Olelos, who speak Olelo Hawaii, to have to be in positions of influence and positions of basically GMs who can say yes or no, because our challenge is usually from the top. The biggest challenge is convincing new property investors in Waikiki or throughout the resorts, boutique hotels or larger, that Hawaiian culture and language is important for not only Hawaii's brand, but for the experience that people have here. That's what they come from all over the world for. Sometimes they focus too much on ROI, which is return on investment, and our term is ROC, return on culture and community, which is to us a much higher priority. I think anywhere you go in the world, any destination, it is the culture in place, what people want to learn. That is the biggest trend we see in tourism today. They want to learn all about the people from the area. Especially important are for the first peoples of any area, like the Hawaiians. The native people in tribal country in the US have the same challenges. And I feel fortunate that we've had government support and strong support to try and make that grow, because without that, it would be very difficult, just seeing some tribes that are barely surviving, because language really is the bloodline of all cultures. And to see tribes struggling who took great pains to be declared a tribe in Louisiana, their story is just amazing, but now their challenge is the cultural preservation, which they are trying to do. As an employer, we are a very small employer, but we deal with other employers. And we try to convince them that really hiring people with the Hawaiian language skill set is an added benefit. Last week, I spoke at the Native Hawaiian Education Summit, and one of the youngsters asked me, oh, what does that mean? I can go and get more pay? And I said, well, no. I do know people in the industry who have started in one position and was able to show the value they have in their cultural knowledge and language, and the administration of the properties actually agreed to upgrade them and change their titles. I've seen it happen 3 times already. So with that said, with the Hawaiian language, the difference between our commitment to language here is that being the first people in host culture, it's for to preserve the identity of who we are, not so much in just translation, but sharing and educating about the people of Hawaii. So, sorry, I think I went over time. Okay, thank you.
Aloha. So I feel like I should just be in the audience. I'm really, really honored to be a panelist up here because more than anything, I'm here to learn from the symposium and learn from all of you and meet you and network with you. So thank you for the honor of being invited. I'm the Human Resources Manager for Bloomingdale's Moana Center. How many of you, anyone, attend our grand opening way back? All right, I love it. I saw a few hands. Thank you. How many of you have been back since? Okay, good. Okay, good. Because everyone likes a party in Hawaii, right? So the grand opening was absolutely amazing and inspiring and a crazy, wonderful day. But we opened our doors back November 12th, 2015. So we're coming up on our 2-year anniversary. It's been a learning experience. My prior life was in hotels, as you may have seen from my bio, and I think that's what won me the opportunity to come back and open this store. I was the Assistant Director of Human Resources over on the island of Lanai, and that really gave me the understanding and appreciation. It's not just language skills, it's culture. So I'm excited when I hear everyone in the room use those kind of synonymously together because culture is every bit as important as the language, and I don't think you can separate the two. So I was back in the Midwest where I'm originally from, and I'm working at the flagship, in Chicago, Michigan Avenue, beautiful store, but freezing and lack of sunlight, seasonal affective disorder. It's a real thing. It's a real thing. I had SAD. And so when they announced the store opening here in Hawaii, I said, well, mine, you need me. You need me. I lived on Lanai for 3 years. That's almost double time because it's so different and so quiet and so immersed in the culture, right? So I was pretty loud and pretty vocal about wanting to come back to Hawaii, and I think having lived on Lanai gave me that kind of leg up on some of the more senior HR professionals. And I made the case for we need to have multilingual speakers on our team. I can't emphasize it enough with the tourism industry and the fact that people visiting Hawaii want an authentic experience, right? They want to feel like they're in Hawaii. So in opening our store, we had a quite daunting task. My goal would be that everybody was multilingual. We have the need, right? And I need to bang the pots and pans and say, yes, we have demand. I would say today, roughly 30% of our associates are multilingual. So for me, that's not enough. How do I draw and attract more multilingual speakers, right? But part of that authentic experience is having Hawaiian speakers as well. So I've got this gentleman on my men's team, Ku, and he's just one of my all-time favorite associates. He grew up only speaking Hawaiian at home, and the customers just love interacting with him. That authentic experience, right? So staffing, really we started with the management team, and there's so many of us that were on the mainland in dreary places that were dying to come to Hawaii, but we said, no, we're not gonna take all transfers. We've got to respect where we're going. And I really said, the Hawaiian culture is so different. Don't think that you get it if you've visited there once on vacation or your honeymoon, right? So they listened to me, they stepped back. Our management team was about half transfers from within Bloomingdale's because our culture is also very important to us as a company and who we are and how we treat one another and our customer service culture, right? So we had about half the managers from the mainland, from transfers, and then we hired half of our management team here locally. We're able to steal a beautiful young lady from DFS, and she's originally from Korea, so we've got her language skills and her knowledge. She's lived here for probably about 7 years now, right? So we definitely went and tried to marry the two. And so, okay, we've got half and half. I partnered everyone with kind of a mentor. So each of our mainland managers had a local mentor, right? Because it was, okay, you need to learn Bloomingdale's culture, we need to learn Hawaiian culture. So that was a big part of building the management team. We actually, I don't know if she's here today, but we did have several partners from KCC come And they, you know, they were crash courses. I wish we'd had so much more time, but they did crash courses on, okay, here's some basic phrases in Korean, here's some basic phrases in Chinese and Japanese, and a little bit of cultural awareness training for our management team, which I think helped us in our opening for sure. If you come into the store, and if you haven't, you've got to come look. But definitely wanted a design that you knew you were in a Bloomingdale, so of course there's the black and white tiles everywhere. But we also want you to know you're in a Bloomingdale's in Hawaii. So we've got these beautiful koi fish sculptures, you know, wallpaper that you know you're in Hawaii. The pineapples are everywhere. We've got beautiful photography, pictures of Duke on his free dives. We've got an aloha room that you know, organizations might have a luncheon in or, you know, utilize for their club meetings or such. So really tying into the community and the fact that we're not just the next greatest Bloomingdale's, we're a Bloomingdale's in Hawaii, and so happy to be here. So I'm still looking for ways to attract and draw more multilingual talent. It's critical to our business. I would like to actually have our business be even more local, so come see us, because you're here year-round, right? And so that would be wonderful for us to have you. But we also probably do, it fluctuates, about 65% international and domestic tourism, right? So maybe 35% of our business is local, and the rest is international. And that's coming from, you know, Japan, Korea, China. So we need those language skills. We've also got a lot of Australians, but lucky for me, I did an 8-month immersion program in Australia, so I speak Australian. Thank you for laughing. You know, in closing, you know, it is definitely an asset. So, you know, if you are professors or interacting with people, yes, Bloomingdale's hires for language skills. Yes, it can help your career advancement and development. You know, my favorite hire, well, one of my favorites. I have too many favorites. I love all of my, you know, nearly 200 members of the store family. But Mary walked in one day, and she's the most petite, blonde-haired, blue-eyed, curly hair, and she speaks fluent Japanese. I said, you've got to be on my Welcome Center team. And to watch a customer's face when they walk up and ask her something and they're struggling, and to have her come back in complete fluent Japanese, it's magical to see their faces. They're like, what? Like, just disbelief, suspend disbelief that this little, you know, doll is talking fluent Japanese. So we've got a fantastic Welcome Center and concierge team that partners with local hotels. All of them are multilingual. We've got one young lady we hired kind of as what we call a selling team lead. So she's kind of a key holder, the closest kind of step to management. And she grew up speaking fluent Japanese at home. No other language was used. And she, actually it's not too recent now, but she was promoted to our supervisor for PR and tourism, you know, based on just her amazing skill set. So there are wonderful opportunities for multilingual speakers, and I'm really interested in how I can attract more. Thank you.
If I could get connected. Okay. Okay. I'm kind of chuckling because it said my first password was incorrect. But this is the problem when we have so many passwords. You forget which one it belongs to. slideshow. Trying to. Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. Okay. Thank you for this opportunity to be part of the symposium. As other members of the panels have said, that there is a big need in Hawaii for multilingual speakers. I used to be in retail too, and I know that was a big challenge. And even for me at JTB Hawaii, I need more multilinguals working for us. Okay. You're wondering about my organization, JTB Hawaii. We are a global organization with 516 offices in 36 countries and 100 cities. Right now, we have over 26,000 employees. Okay. A little bit of our history. In 1912, we started as Japan Tourist Bureau, and our mission was to invite and serve the needs of visitors from overseas to Japan. And then in 1945, we changed our name to Japan Travel Bureau. And in 1964, we opened a Hawaii office. We recognized that Hawaii was a very important destination for our Japanese customers. And in fact, in 2014, we celebrated our 50th anniversary in Hawaii. Then in 1988, we changed our name to just JTB. We decided that we needed to emphasize our global presence and less of Japan. So now we are called just JTB Corp. But of course, here in Hawaii, we're known as JTB Hawaii. Okay. In 1995, we started a very important destination event, and that was the Honolulu Festival. Okay. And then in 1995, we started the Olioli system for our tourists from Japan. And if you're wondering what is Olioli, it is not a Japanese word. I thought it was. But it's actually Hawaiian, okay? And that is... Okay. Oh, I even come with sound effects. In 2010, we reorganized to 5 companies here, and I'll go through them later. And in 2011, we created a new brand slogan, which still exists today, which is perfect moments always. Okay. And in 2012, we celebrated our 100th anniversary. So we've been around a long time. Okay. And we see ourselves as JTB creating communication between people throughout the world. Now, as you can see at the bottom there, JTB Corp is an official travel partner for the Tokyo Olympics. And as you see there, we have the logo for the Tokyo Olympics in 2020 and also for the Tokyo Paralympics. So if you go to Tokyo, there are many signs with this logo there. Our headquarters is in Tokyo. We were founded in March 1912. And this is our organization today. As you see at the top, with our Tokyo headquarters, we are divided into 6 regions throughout the world. We have a a office in Europe, headquartered in London, JTB China in Beijing. We have JTB Korea, headquartered in Seoul, Korea, JTB Micronesia, headquartered in Guam, and JTB Asia Pacific, headquartered in Singapore. I'm part of the JTB Americas group, which consists of both North and South America. And if you're wondering about South America, a few years ago, we purchased a company in Brazil, the largest travel company called Alatour. And Alatour, a few years ago, was the travel organizer for the Rio Olympics and also for the World Soccer Cup. Okay? So I'm part of JTB Americas. Our headquarters is in Torrance, California. Okay. Here in Hawaii, we have 2 organizations. One is JTB USA, which is our sister company. They handle the outbound. So in other words, if you like to go from Hawaii to Japan, to China, or even to the mainland US, you'll be going to JTB USA. And if we handle JTB Hawaii the inbound, so we take in customers into Hawaii. And in fact, a plug to Bloomingdale's, our sister company, JTB USA, is right next to you, downstairs on the ground floor, and also downstairs is our JTB Hawaii Olioli station. Okay. We do have offices on 3 islands right now. That's here on Oahu, Maui, and also Big Island. Our headquarters is over at Iwalei. I know it sounds very glamorous. We're right next to Costco, Iwalei. That's where I am. So this is where we have many of our, what we call back office operations, such as accounting, human resources operations, property management, the MIS department. But in Waikiki, we have a nice location there. And right now, this building is called the Bank of Hawaii Waikiki Center. Back in the day, I remember this as the Misakoshi building. But we are at the top at the 8th and 9th floor. And this is where one of our subsidiaries, which is JTB Hawaii Travel, this is the company that handles all the incoming Japanese tourists. Okay. One of the departments in this organization is called Group Planning and Arrangement. This is the department that handles such as group business. For example, to bring in Honolulu Festival takes a lot of coordination. And when we did the Honolulu Festival, it's not only groups from Japan, but throughout Asia Pacific. In fact, we even had a couple of groups from Italy. So we are expanding the scope of services throughout the world to come into Hawaii. Okay? And of course, another one is the Honolulu Marathon. We have our hotel and look department. They are the ones who purchase the rooms. Yesterday, we had about 1,100 look customers, so which in effect meant we needed to purchase 550 rooms in our hotels here. We also have destination products, sometimes known as optional tours. An example would be like Sea Life Park, Polynesian Cultural Center. Those are all optional tours. And our headquarters, our customer service, of course, I had mentioned our Olioli station, which is at Moana. We are very big on the web. As you know, there are some people who like to do their own travel coordination, so it's on the website. We also have a company called Aloha Tour Service. Another one is JTB Global Travel Service. This is a company that's just like the JTB Hawaii Travel. However, they concentrate on customers from outside of Japan, such as China, Korea, Australia, Indonesia. So we do the same business. We are a one-stop shop for our customers. We also provide the transportation with buses. I think you might have seen our yellow buses, or you might have seen our Oli Oli walker buses. Those are the colorful buses that go around Waikiki. And with some people, they like limousines. We have another one called Tachibana, and they do many services such as arranging for golf and shopping tours. We also provide services for visitors and locals, such as JTL Wireless. If you'd like to rent a phone or Wi-Fi router, you can do that, even to rent a car through Nippon Rent-A-Car. We even have a Japanese answering service, so that if you're a tourist and you speak Japanese and you'd like some information of what restaurant to eat, or what destination to see, or I'm not feeling well, is there a doctor that I could call? This is a company that you may want to contact. It's Japanese Answering Service. Okay? In January of this year, we also bought out a company, and it's the #1 destination and event planning company, and that's called MCNA. And to give an example of some of the projects that they have done this year, or actually last year, such as Allstate Insurance. They brought 6,000 participants to Hawaii. They also hosted Microsoft's company and Cisco. There are 2 big events that they were in charge of. One was the International Congress on Conservation, where we had several heads of state coming into Hawaii, including President Obama. And the second big event was the 75th anniversary of Pearl Harbor. If you recall, Obama came into Hawaii. That was handled by MCNA. And the visit by the Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe was handled by JTB Hawaii. And of course, 2 heads of state met here for that anniversary. Okay? So as you can see, JTB is a very diversified company and involved with many activities here. What are we looking for in Hawaii? One is we do offer internships. We have full-time, part-time, and on-call positions. And the languages spoken here in Hawaii include Japanese, Chinese, and Japanese. But there are also many career opportunities worldwide. We do have a global posting system that we can report to either our Torrance regional headquarters or to Tokyo. And there have been times where we've posted positions where it's an assignment for 2 years in India or in Brazil or in China, but there is a lot of opportunities. So for those of you or your students who have the other language skills, multilingual skills, and enjoy being with people. In fact, that's what we're looking for. We want to encourage those who enjoy working with people and to speak and to share their culture and language with others. Of course, we highly recommend that you have the skills that's befitting of the hospitality industry, such as having that smiley face, the warm voice with a smile, the eye contact, and you just like being with people. So if you fit that category or you know someone who fits that category, please send them over to JTB. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I do not have a PowerPoint presentation. In fact, I'm standing here because I'm much more comfortable standing. So in lieu of a PowerPoint presentation, I do PowerPoint presentations every day as a professional trainer. I will not do it. Today, I am the PowerPoint. I will speak to you in the English language. Therefore, you can understand. Again, I'm the training and recruiting specialist at Mutual of Omaha. First, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Mutual of Omaha, who we are, what we do, and why we do what we do. I'm not here to promote. And secondly, I will do a presentation on long-term care insurance. I'm just kidding. Yeah. A little about, in fact, I'm a local boy. My mother is from the Big Island. She is of Filipino, Hawaiian, and Korean ethnic, and she can speak all languages. And my father's from the Philippines, so I am all of that, and I can speak sukoshi of each of those. Yeah. At Mutual of Omaha, we are a national financial services and insurance company. You all know that. How many of you have watched Wild Kingdom? I'm looking at all those over 50. Okay, yeah. We have sponsored Wild Kingdom for about 60 years now. Dr. Becht's probably watched. Also in the community, we are also the official sponsors of the United States Olympic swimming team, which their practice facilities is in Omaha, Nebraska. We're a 100-year-old company. Some of you might say, so what? Well, being 100 years old pretty much tells us we probably know what we're doing and we've made enough mistakes and we've learned from it. We're also a $35 billion Fortune 500 company, so what? In the day and age since 2008 and 2009, people have become more cautious in talking about finances. People have lost money in the stock market. People have had mortgage foreclosures. So it is important to know, is your company safe? Is it sound? Is it secure? And we have done it for over 100 years. One of the things that attracted me, can you all hear me out there? When I first started with Mutual of Omaha, is I read, as part of the orientation, you need to know about the company's corporate culture, the vision, mission statement. But this jumped out at me, and I'm going to share it with you. I'm going to read it exactly as it is in the manual to be legally compliant. I also want to make sure it's right. Mutual of Omaha has long celebrated and valued diversity. Our commitment to diversity has become part of our corporate culture and helps define the way we do business. It goes on to say, where are we in customer service? We recognize that diverse needs and backgrounds of our customers are committed to doing business in a way that is comfortable and welcoming to them. It's not about us. It is about our customers. And finally, our workforce. Our associates are the foundation upon which our success is built. We value that many perspectives they bring and recognize that this diversity makes us a better company. That's why we are committed to recruiting, hiring, and developing a diverse workforce. We also provide an environment that enables associates to do their best work free from harassment or discrimination. And that jumped out at me, and I said, probably I might consider being a part of an organization that thinks like this. So how do we recruit? I don't really like the name recruit. I like Dr. Beck, and this is professional search. I like that. Yeah. Talent acquisition. Yeah. But I'll use recruiting for purposes of my presentation. We use all of the job boards. We use social media like everybody else. It doesn't work the way I would like to do it. Of course, we use LinkedIn, Facebook. We use Monster, Indeed, all of the online situation, all of that lacks this human interpersonal. What we've found this year as a very effective way of, and again, I'll use recruiting, is this one-on-one, going out and talking to people that match the candidate profile. Sitting down with them, whether it be in our office, whether it be at Zippy's, Starbucks, in their workplace, it is sitting down and talking to them and listening to them. Yeah. And that's where we're finding that the candidates at Mutual of Omaha, we become very selective in our search. You're talking to people about their future and their lives financially. You ask me why we go out and do what we do. Look at the financial world as we see it today. We see statistics, and we are $20 trillion in debt. How many of you think we're ever going to pay that back? No. People are looking at Social Security, and they ask me, is Social Security going to be around, Stan? And you all have your different thoughts. All of the entitlements we're talking about, will they be around? Medicare, Medicaid, federal student loans, Section 8 housing. Would that be available with a government that's going broke? I don't know. I don't have the answer to that. What we can do is help you build a financial plan for yourself. Currently, this is pretty interesting in our advisor group. We have about 30 advisors, and we have advisors that speak Ilocano, Tagalog, Mandarin, Cantonese, Japanese, Korean, Vietnamese, and Chamorro. Why is this so important? One of the foundations of being an organization, I mentioned earlier that we recruit through job postings. Let me read our job posting that we've got out there. We have this at Scheidler College. We have it out at the HPU and Chaminade. It reads like this. It does not read, we are looking for salespeople who want to make $100,000 a year. We are looking for aggressive salespeople that can close. It does not say that. Yeah. We are looking for people that can sell. This is what it says. As a financial advisor, Mutual of Omaha Financial Advisors, your goal is creating, maintaining, and protecting the financial stability of your clients. The main priority is developing relationships with your clients based on trust, honesty, and integrity. As a trainer, I cannot teach integrity. You either come with it or you don't. I can teach behavior skills and I can measure it. With your ability to assess a client's current financial state and create a plan for a successful financial future, you will earn the respect of your clients and colleagues. And you all know one of the biggest factors when you deal with a financial advisor or anyone that's talking about your money is the thing about trust. I teach several things. Relationships, building confidence and trust. You can teach all of the training in products, in financial services. That's good and fine. In this world today, people are looking for people that they trust. And what better way to have someone that speaks Ilocano, someone that speaks Visayan, someone that speaks Mandarin. I have watched and observed one of our agents do an entire presentation in Mandarin. There was 8 people in there. These are all business owners. And I observed and watched the intensity and what they're understanding, because this is someone that's speaking my language and someone that addressed my concerns. There's an old saying that says, I may not remember what you say, I may not remember what you do. I will certainly remember how you made me feel. And because you understand myself, you understand my culture and the way I speak and my needs and concerns, I might even want to do business with you, Mr. Mutual of Omaha financial person, in spite of your wild kingdom. Yeah. I want to share just 2 scenarios of how it has become effective. We have our top financial advisor for the month speaks Ilocano and Tagalog. And she does not have an MBA. She is just like the nicest person in the world. She owns a restaurant, but very loving and very understanding. She is a good listener. I don't teach people how to speak. In my classes in communication, I teach them how to listen. Not pretend listening, not selective listening, but attentive listening. So that the more they understand, the more we can find solutions so that they can meet their financial goals. And today she is our top agent. Our second top agent has an account. This is one of the popular restaurants in Waikiki. I will not mention the restaurant, Eggs and Things. And the owners are Japanese. And it is very fortunate that he speaks Japanese. He's a local boy that went to Pearl City High School, spent 11 years in Japan, in ELS, came back home and says, now I've done my seasoning as a teacher, brought back his Japanese bride and says, what am I going to do? Walked into our office 7 years ago, and today bought a new home, has twins, and is highly, highly successful. This gentleman is the same gentleman that I was observing during the entire presentation in Mandarin. He speaks Cantonese, and one day I was listening to him on the phone, and he speaks fluent Japanese. Yeah. Ask me how successful this guy. He became successful of his ability to understand and learn different languages as he grew up. He went to college, he learned this. He was important. This guy was a visionary. He said, I need to learn this if I am to survive in the workplace. And he already came to Mutual of Omaha with this ability to speak. And it has paid off huge, huge dividends for him. Our third outstanding performer speaks Japanese. He's a graduate of Scheidler College, been with us for 5 years. Extremely, extremely successful, his ability to speak in that language. So in closing, what I want to share with those that are preparing students for the workplace. Basically, it's in 3 areas: interpersonal skills, leadership skills, and team building skills. In the interpersonal, I focus a lot not on the products, not on long-term care, critical illness, or life insurance. I focus a lot in 4 areas. The area of communication is speaking, writing, understanding body language. Body language also is speaking, because if you say something in the word and your body does not match, ever hear someone says, I love you? And I say, I love you. Same words, but the physiology does not match the words. So I teach that. So in closing, like Dr. Beck says, it is about human interaction. And I share that with all of you. That is my presentation. I hope I've shared some good thoughts with you. And again, thank you for having me, Lena. Aloha, mahalo, kia kua.
So I'd like to ask our panelists to stay for a moment. You did a very good job keeping to your time, which gives us some time for questions. And I do hope that those of you in the audience, particularly those of you who are involved in language education, will take the opportunity to ask questions of these employers, because they are the ones who you are trying to encourage your students to reach out to. So please, if you have a moment, think about what you might want to know from them, and the mics are open. Don't be shy. Can you go to the mic so we can hear? Thank you.
Hello? I have a question, especially for our tourism-related businesses. How can you relate to us the challenges you have given Hawaii's low unemployment rate, finding, keeping, retaining qualified, I guess in your case, salespeople at the store and at JTB?
Yes, unemployment was one of the things that jumped out at me, and that, it's how great for the state that it's so low, but it is a challenge or an opportunity, I like to say. It sounds a little more positive. Retention's critical, because first I've got to find them, and we had to hire over 200 people to open, and that was no small task. So of course we've got all the job postings out there with all the local community colleges, Indeed, all the ones that colleague over there mentioned. But then we had to go boots on the ground, and retail's kind of cutthroat. We went to other retailers and we looked for their best people that took great service to me. I said, okay, I can see you in my store. And so there's a lot of that. And people might leave you for a quarter, or they might leave you for a fancy title. Millennials, tell them not to be so hung up on titles and a quarter. But the store family has heart, and that's the retention's been wonderful for us, and that's what's really helped us, because it's hard. It's hard to get the new employee to join your team, but for us, it's about heart. Our group is always saying, oh, what can we do to help the local community? We've got a lot of great partnerships. We do beach cleanups as a team. They're always asking, what can we do? We have a great partnership with Aloha United Way and store family, people that have sometimes 2 or 3 jobs, not just Bloomingdale's, and we pledged over $13,000 for Aloha United Way in just a 1-month campaign for the month of August. So I think that it's about having heart, culture, and a connection. So they feel like they're a part of an ohana when they come to work. And we just had our employee survey. We've got to listen. We've got to listen to our employees. And it was, I almost had tears in my eyes. I had chicken skin, as you call it, when I read some of it, because people were just, Bloomingdale's is the best job I have. I feel like I can be my authentic self, and I'm working with friends and family, not just employers. So retention's been probably our biggest strength.
Well, at JTB, it is very challenging to find good employees. Yes, we do lose sometimes to another employer, particularly with the hotels where they may have only a a handful of bilinguals, whereas I need to have a much bigger population of bilingual staff. But we also have many people who average about 20 to 40 years of service. So, and that's great. And we also have employees who are moving around. And, you know, we do have 5 companies. So we say that, you know, I know sometimes you may feel that, hey, I'm at Travel Plaza Transportation. We do have openings in your sister company at JTB Hawaii Travel. So there's that mix. And right now, between all our entities, we're almost 1,000 employees. So there are spaces around. So I'd rather lose you to another sister company rather than entirely outside of the JTB family, you know. But yes, we have to do a lot harder in our approach and retention. It is a challenge right now, but you know, when it gets challenging, it is also a good opportunity for us to be smarter in the human resources field.
What I have observed and in discussions, frequent discussions with management in the industry, we have a high need to have prepared entry-level employees. There's a big deficit in soft skills. And we're talking about basic things like showing up on time, dressing appropriately, knowing how to speak, understanding you should learn about the company before you show up. So I think addressing very basic, you will find that superstar. Not everybody is a diamond when they walk in, but you know, with a good company, they can be polished to become one. In the visitor industry, it is probably one of the only industries left in Hawaii besides construction where you can work your way up without a degree, because it's all about results. How you perform with your clients in the hotel or visitors, how hospitable you are, ho'okipa, obviously. But that's what we've found, and it's statewide, it's not just one area, that there's a very high need to address the basic stuff. And we're not talking about language, we're talking about just presentation, and properly completing applications, or understanding your own resume. So it sounds funny, but that is our workforce. And if you don't have the ability to raise the salary, which, let's be honest, in Hawaii, salary matters a lot because cost of living is so high here. But if you don't have the ability to increase that, you have to be able to find the potential in the people that come to apply for your company. And that can be a good thing for your brand.
Let me add one more recruiting technique we've used. He's recruiting again. And this, when I talked about building referrals, your COI, your center of influence, part of this is to build, and we're doing this right now, is to build a referral culture within your organization. In other words, a lot of people know a lot of people out there. I, as a recruiter, will not accomplish this by myself. I can do it with a lot of people who believe in what we do and why we do it. So part of that is develop that culture to extend as they're talking to people. And we all know, those of you that brought up in Hawaii, we are a word of mouth island, are we not? Well, you wanted to go, where's a good place for Filipino food? Where's someone can do home improvement, plumbing. We are word of mouth. So that is what we're doing, getting out the word, talking to people, finding out and searching for people that match the traits and profile that we're looking for. This is in addition to everything else. So I still think this one-on-one, the power of the word, of who we are and why we do it, that is going to work, and that's going to sustain us for the rest of the year. That's my story, and that's what I'm going to stick to this morning.
I think I lost my question. My name is Kathy, and I'm a Chuukese interpreter. I did not find anything about Micronesia, talking about Micronesia in here, but or Pacific. I hope in the future you can recruit somebody from the Pacific Islands, because we're here in Hawaii, and we're surrounded by the Pacific Ocean. maybe to Mr. Stan. Me and my friend here, we speak Samoan and Portuguese fluently. Maybe you need that help from us. You can recruit us or employ us, even though we have jobs. But yeah, see, you can. So I don't really have that question, but that comment is, if you can consider something in the future about, the Pacific Ocean, the Samoans, the Polynesian, Micronesians, because we're here. Yeah? And they speak that languages.
Well, I can address that because JTB has offices in Micronesia, and I've been to Guam and Saipan. And so we have offices there, and we're a major employer in Saipan. And so, we've had employees transfer between the islands to Hawaii and vice versa, like that. And like I had mentioned earlier, that we do have a global posting program too. So where you start one place, at some point in the future, you could be transferred to another location.
Okay, sure. Yes, good morning. My name is Loan. I'm the chapter coordinator from the National Language Service Corps. I'm in charge of the group of interpreters for the federal government in Hawaii. And you are our customer if you need to join us. Yeah, please. So a quick question for four of you, and I do really appreciate that your sharings of using the multilingual workforce, working with different employers. Do you provide your employees kind of professional development training, like language enhancement, or in other words, like a basic, very, very basic interpretation skills trainings, so that I think that may add up a lot of value for your multilingual workforce? Thank you.
At JTB, we do provide financial support if you'd like to improve your language skills in whatever language there is. And we do have a working relationship with Kapi'olani Community College, with Learning Biz, and so we do use and apply the workforce development training credits. We've also had employees go to another location, such as our Tokyo University, which is at JTB headquarters, for further development in Japanese. So there are other opportunities.
Thank you very much for inspiring panel. My name is Anastasia, and I represent the Russian program here at UH. My question is, you were speaking about Asian languages that you need for your workforce, including Australian too. Do we stand a chance with the Russian language? In other words, when I share my impressions about this symposium with my students, can I tell them that their language skills with Russian can be in demand with you here in Hawaii? Thank you.
Absolutely. For me, any language, I think representing just human interaction and everyone, there's no better language than one than the other. Yes, there's more travelers perhaps from Japan, but any second language, anything at all, I think is a huge asset. So I would take anyone. And she relocated, unfortunately, but we had one of our top sales professionals had Russian language, Slovakian, and Polish language skills. And people gravitated towards that. They want to see, a multicultural workforce. So absolutely an asset, any language.
You just made me realize something. We had an intern from Russia that came to our conference last year. She just graduated from TIM School, the Tourism Industry Management School here at UH. I think it would be very valuable, and this is kind of a commercial, but I don't mean to do it, but next week we have a Kipa Aloha Cultural Education Series conference next Friday and Saturday at the Hawaii Convention Center. And our website has information on that. But it's not just for industry people. I think that anyone who's interested in learning more about Hawaii, So if you have clients, we have scholarships available, so they can apply for that, which waives the registration fee. But I think they would find it valuable learning just a general understanding of businesses in the tourism industry, all culture, Hawaiian cultural related. We have singular speakers on the second day that would be very interesting to people who are not quite familiar with our community. But she enjoyed it a lot, and she's been to everything that we've sponsored since. She works at the Kahala Mandarin now. But I also want to say, I know we're going to close pretty soon, I brought some Aloha Law posters with me, those of you who are not aware of it, but the spirit of the Aloha was passed in 1986 in the legislature, and I have posters if anybody wants for their office or their staff.
I think we're all hearing the language of stomach, and it usually speaks in very limited communication.